Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I am back with some more Starcraft 2. By popular demand, it is time for another AlphaStar replay. We're going to be having ourselves AlphaStar playing as Terran this time, but before I get much more into that, AlphaStar, for those of you unaware, is basically a deep mind learning AI program. It's not your standard video game AI. This is one that actually learns. It is one that actually plays at a very high level in a way that no other AI has really played before. It's really the next step in artificial intelligence. It is produced by DeepMind, and they have a lot of wonderful write-ups on their website about it. So we've got AlphaStar playing as Zerg this time. The last game I cast was Protoss, and you guys really enjoyed that, so I thought I'd do a Zerg next, and then maybe a Terran game after that, just to see how exactly it plays in all the matchups here. That'll probably be the goal, maybe for me to try and do like all 9 matchups, I guess. Or all 9 possible matches. Anyway, so we've got AlphaStar taking on a Masters Terran player. Now, I can't see exactly what level this Terran is, whether how high or how low he is, but we know AlphaStar plays at around like a 5.96k-ish MMR, I believe it was. So it should be very exciting to see how is it going to do versus like a modern Terran player. We'll see if this guy's going to play pretty normal or whether he'll play pretty crazy. Either way, AlphaStar is going to have to deal with it. Now we take a look here. We've got just a normal hatchery expand for AlphaStar. And then it's just starting to make up a few drones, interestingly enough. AlphaStar saturating its gas all the way up there. And actually abiding by the amount of drones on its base for now. I know in the past AlphaStar would always heavily drone up its bases. We'll see if that's going to be the case still. And in the meantime, we'll take a look at what this Terran's going to be going for. He's got a Marine on the way after his Reaper. Then he's getting up a factory. I'm gonna be a little selfish here and say that I want the Terran to battle cruiser rush AlphaStar and see if AlphaStar just explodes upon that. But anyway, we take a look. AlphaStar is trying to move out across the map with its lings. So far, it's microing one of its lings all right, or trying to, showing promise. But either way, it does seem just to be kind of running its lings across the map, and the Terran's Reaper is just grabbing these. So AlphaStar is going to pull the Terran away from it while it just fires up a ton of drones. It's also pulled out of gas at the 16 mark. And then started mining up, or started getting speed going. So I guess we are seeing AlphaStar in its current form with its kind of AI limitations. This is the final stage here. But yeah, I mean, if you'd expect something was playing at like 100% efficiency, we would see the fact that it would probably have stopped mining gas right at 16 or right at 0. Basically, or whether it would have pulled out of that or not. So it's kind of interesting to see whether that is the human limitation, or maybe there's another economical reason, like maybe it was waiting for the drones to be in the right position or whatever. That could be something to think about, but in the meantime, we've got AlphaStar. It's starting to spread creep here. It's got its speed about to finish up. So far, it hasn't made, it has made 4 more Zerglings here. Those are the units that it's making to rely on its early defense. It's going to try and surround this Terran player's Reaper, and he is going to be able to pick that off, so good for AlphaStar. Meanwhile, our Terran here, he's actually going to be playing a little bit aggressive, it would seem. In a sense, he's already making up a siege tank. He's got a starport on the way, so going for a 1-1-1, making Marines. So it's definitely going to be a bit of an early push coming out of the Terran. And now we're going to see how well AlphaStar will deal with this. The Terran is going for a 3rd CC behind this, but make no mistake, this does have the potential to be aggressive, of course. The Terran with throwing up the 3rd CC could just be sitting back. But we'll see what else he's going to go into. Or, I mean, for all we know, this Terran's just going to mech. I'm really curious, because this is how you'd kind of expect a Terran to play versus a Protoss, maybe. Versus a Zerg, we'll just see how what he's gonna lead this out into. Anyway, enough of looking at the Terran. Let's see what AlphaStar is up to. Making Overlords, making Queens, getting up another Gas Geyser at its 3rd base. So the AI says, right, this is the one, as it picks this Gas Geyser. And that's a bit interesting there. It does actually get supply blocked a little, as the Viking killed off one of its Overlords. It fires up 2 more Overlords to solve that. And then we take a look here. Spore Crawlers on the way at the 3rd base. And then we've got just Evos on the way, Queens on the way. Yeah, everything pretty normal here. The Terran player, he is going to be going into bio, so just it was just a very safe bio play with opening up a siege tank and then going into a third command center. So yeah, I guess a safe way you can go for a quick third CC. However, he did neglect his map presence up until he's going for this drop now. But with AlphaStar having 3 queens here, I think it should be fine to defend 7 Marines in a Medivac. We'll see if it's going to be prepared to defend it at its third base, and it looks like it is. It's repositioning its lings there. The Terran player has a Viking looking around for more overlords, but for now, this is the main action going on in this game. We've got the Queens engaging the Marines. The Terran player, he pulls those away. And then, yeah, let's just take a look here. AlphaStar currently just going for +1 armor. So this is an interesting trend we're seeing from AlphaStar so far, as it's gone up to 71 drones and is getting towards 4 bases by the 6-minute mark. So its macro is no joke. But yeah, AlphaStar seems to prefer the Carapace upgrades. In the previous game that I cast, it went for the armor upgrades as the Terran, which is it's something really interesting to play. Maybe it's how it I'm not 100% sure how it decides, but maybe it just there's definitely some fundamental reason why it chooses to go for the armor. Yeah, let's just take a look here. Ling's gonna be sharking around this third base, gonna deny a bit of mining. So AlphaStar going for some Ling harassment. Can we actually take a look at AlphaStar's camera? We can look at AlphaStar's camera. Okay, this is really cool. I didn't do this in the last game because that one was a bit hectic, but look at this. This is how AlphaStar goes through its cycles of playing. It just, see, it's checking its front, it's checking its bases. So, okay, yeah, this is really cool. It, like, checks its front, it checks a base, it checks the front, it checks a different base, it checks its front, and then some sort of variation of that. So really cool to see how AlphaStar is playing through its own eyes. While we keep an eye on the production tab, these two players are really just building on up here, but I'm pretty sure this is AlphaStar just gonna smash this Masters Terran player, I wanna say. Because right now, we take a look at the supply, it is a Zerg with 80 army supply, 83 drones, going up against a Terran who's at 100 supply. With 57 workers, the Terran is now starting to push out onto creep and everything, but no, I think AlphaStar is smurfing, I feel, man. Like, the way this game's set up, this is just looking like a very scary Zerg. I'm not sure how the Terran is going to be able to push on in here. The Terran will have an upgrade lead for a time. He's making a lot of siege tanks, so I mean, he's not just donezo, but, as far as being able to make an attack work, this is going to be tough because AlphaStar is going to be maxed out momentarily. And oh my gosh, it's actually firing up 13 more drones. This could actually be too much, AlphaStar. Okay, AlphaStar could have a fundamental flaw here if it just never stops making drones when it's unharassed or whatever. Because the Zerg AlphaStar has got up to 99 drones and counting. It crosses the 100 mark. So it's really going to be limiting its army supply here. So at a certain point, the Terran is going to have a lot more army supply than the Zerg, but I'm curious, is the Zerg just going to have like an insane economy than just keep throwing more and more units at its opponent? Look at this. That AlphaStar is just expanding exactly what you want to do versus a turtle player as the Zerg. It's teching up. It's got a very good economy. How much larva does it have banked up? It's got 17 larvae. We'll see if it stays on top of its injects there and builds up a very high amount, because it would be really cool if it just like trades out its army, remaxes right away or something like that. Now we're seeing the Terran go for a drop, and this has been a very passive Terran. Yeah, he's gonna get a queen, but that is not enough at this point to warrant how passive he's been. He's a 3-base Terran right now. He's building a 4th base, but this is so late. This is such a slow rate of expansion for the Terran. I think it really is going to come down to one big push from the Terran, whether he can kill AlphaStar or not. He's probably leading towards a 2-2 push, but look at this. The Zerg AlphaStar has now maxed out. It's building Corruptors. I wonder if it's going to make Broodlords or something like that. What is AlphaStar going to play Broodlord and Fester? That's the real question. But oh, take a look at this. It's even building Spine Crawlers. The positioning of these is kind of interesting. I wonder why it chooses this spot. Either way, they're not done in time. The Terran player is coming in with a bit of a nice drop. It's hitting this base, or he's hitting this base. He's hitting this base to the south, but that drop gets cleaned up. This one, though, getting some damage done. Gonna pick off a hatchery of AlphaStar, but I mean, harassment is really... The main point of harassment is so that eventually you create an opening to kill your opponent. And this guy has got to get a lot more harassment done before he's going to be able to kill AlphaStar. He's actually just right-clicking on this hatchery. AlphaStar is a little bit slow to respond. Is going to lose another hatchery. The Terran lifts up and gets out with his medivac, so that was a nice blow there. And then he's also got more drops going on, so we'll see if he's actually just going to be able to multitask this version of AlphaStar. We've got the Terran, he's going to be dropping down here. AlphaStar has got to respond to a drop in the main base. To its third base, it's already lost 2 hatcheries, which it hasn't rebuilt. So while AlphaStar seemed to macro up very well, its response to these drops is not that of like a god tier Zerg. So we take a look. The Terran trying to drop into the main base, gonna get the infestation pit. A lot of corruptors are out, but these Marines not gonna be challenged by them. And oh my gosh, the Spire, the Greater Spire is gonna go down here. AlphaStar also getting dropped again. I mean, this guy is Masters Terran, but he's playing pretty darn good as far as his drop play goes. Now, how's his macro behind this? I mean, he's not producing too much. So, I mean, his drops are on point, but like a lot of players, his macro seems to be failing a little bit here. You gotta float over all those CCs. You gotta get it going. There we go, double expanding. He's really focusing on these drops, and he did get a lot of damage done. But at the end of the day, when everything is tallied up, AlphaStar is still maxed out. The Terran is not, and oh my gosh, AlphaStar, it lost its Greater Spire, yes. However, it did not lose its Ultra Cavern. So AlphaStar is making 5 Ultralisks. And I mean, the Terran has a lot of tanks, so I'm not sure exactly how a fight will play out. I mean, the Terran's tank count is actually really impressive here. Terran gonna be securing this base here, gonna be securing this base here. Let's take a look though. Is the Terran gonna make those orbital or planetary fortresses? That would be something good to see. But now take a look, the Terran's gonna be pushing on out. He's actually going for a big old attack right now. A ton of Marines and siege tanks, a pretty classic Terran composition. Is there enough for AlphaStar to stop this? AlphaStar has got chitinous plating, so the Ultras are very tanky. But speaking of tanky, there is a lot of tanks here for this Terran. 13 siege tanks, and tanks, I mean, you may be like, oh, tanks, they're okay versus Zerg. No, when there's this many tanks and your opponent isn't making a counter to them, they're pretty alright. I mean, if the Zerg makes a mistake of attacking into like 13 siege tanks, they can absolutely just get washed here. The Ultras are retreating for now. Anabolic Synthesis is on the way here for the Zerg, but AlphaStar could be in a spot of trouble right now as this Masters Terran is going to be pushing out on the map. A ton of siege tanks rolling out, blocking this position down. Thank God for AlphaStar. It has secured so many bases here. As this Terran, he's picking off another one. He's sending some Marines towards this location. AlphaStar will react to this run by, which is a nice move from it. That's a nice pickoff there, but oh, look at this. The Terran also hitting this base as well. So great play here from the Terran, hitting in multiple locations. What's he doing behind this though? He hasn't turned this other base into a planetary. There we go. He's got this one up, but it would be good to see him get up some more of that. Meanwhile, we take a look. AlphaStar losing another base. The Terran player going to be retreating here. A lot of siege tanks out here for the master player. Looks like AlphaStar will clean this up. AlphaStar now on a more modest 78 drones, rebuilding a Greater Spire, 3 hatcheries at a time. Starting to expand towards its opponent. Starting to secure this expansion as well. This is a happy Zerg here. Gonna be heading towards this planetary, but it is not done, or it's just done, but it's not really saturated. Those SCVs could repair it, but they are electing not to do so. We take a look here. The Terran plays like, huh, the Zerg's expanding this close. That's not a good sign for me. Meanwhile, Corruptors for AlphaStar are moving around. I wonder if they're gonna use that caustic spray ability. 4 expansions out at a time for the Terran. Oh, Liberator harassment, though, going down from the Master player. This is good versus AlphaStar. I think AI has a problem dealing with Liberation Zones. We'll see how well AlphaStar deals with this. Meanwhile, a drop in the top right. A drop at this location down here. AlphaStar going to be taking some damage. Can the Terran get the hatchery still? Yes, it can, because AlphaStar is pulling away, trying to deal with this other form of harassment. Meanwhile, the Terran just going to be boosting this drop away. We see the Zerg has now invested in 2 Broodlords. But, I mean, everything considered and tallied up, I think this is still pretty good for AlphaStar. I mean, I honestly have no idea how well it's going to play the late game. Will these two just continuously go on playing the game of cat and mouse forever? Or is AlphaStar's patience going to wear thin? Is it going to attack on into this Terran? There's a ton of siege tanks here, though, for the Terran. If AlphaStar attacks in, it is a dead nerd. That is at least without Broodlords. As, yeah, look at this. Broodlord's on the way for AlphaStar, and oh my gosh, it is making a lot more Corruptors right now. So really going hard into that air composition. A lot of air, a lot of Broodlords. So AlphaStar just, it's got 7 Broodlords, 11 Corruptors with another 12 on the way. That is like a mass air army for the Zerg. Apparently that's what AlphaStar figures it needs, but then it's also going in with its ground force right now. Liberators should be getting sieged on up. Tanks as well. Looks like this Zerg army will be getting pushed on back, but still, I'm pretty sure this is an alright spot here for the Zerg, as the Terran is just struggling to get up this 5th base. These Marines and Marauders going to overextend a little bit. And then take a look here. The melee upgrade is on the way for AlphaStar, so it's going to be heading towards all of its good upgrades. It's not using its other Evo, so it's just saying melee attack, no missiles. So it says, I'm done building roaches, I'm done building hydras. I don't need that. I'm going to save that money till later. Speaking of money, AlphaStar's bank is starting to run a little bit dry. It's lost a lot of drones, and it's actually just focused hard on its army. And we take a look here. The Zerg trying to push on in once again, but it's not happening. AlphaStar seems to be learning on the fly almost, but no, now we're going to be seeing that big push coming out of the Zerg. The Terran is desperate now. He's like, oh man, this Zerg is, he's got up to Broodlord, so I got to be careful now. So the Zerg player going to be looking to push on in. The Terran says, right, it's time to kind of yeet my siege tanks across the map since they don't help versus Broodlords. The Terran got to keep those siege tanks moving, or else they will just die fighting those free Broodlings. The Terran is entering a bit of a base trade scenario right now. How does AlphaStar react to a base trade? I do not know. The Broodlords are actually trying to chase down all these siege tanks, so this seems to be going the way of the Terran in a sense. I mean, he is doing a good job pulling the Zerg away. Liberators are harassing on the bases. AlphaStar is down to 27 workers. The siege tanks still being a pain. The Corruptors are overhead. AlphaStar has built far too many Corruptors here, as it's at 32 with very minimal other units on the ground. And then this Bioforce is coming on in. It's going to pick off the natural base, or at least get the Greater Spire 2, which was research +1 attack. The Broodlords, though, are going to continuously keep pushing on in. The one Liberator has given AlphaStar some grief, as it did a lot of damage to those Corruptors. But take a look at this. While the base trade is still going on, like, we could actually have an elimination scenario versus AlphaStar. Let's take a look. I mean, the Broodlords are starting to push on in. How's the AI going to be able to, like... It's in trouble, right? AlphaStar is throwing up another Expo. It's making 24 Lings and an Ultra, but it has lost, like, all but its main base. It's rebuilding this location here. But as far as the speediness of the base race goes, this has really gone the Terran's way. There's all these Corruptors which aren't really helping out, and so many Marines are trapped here for the Terran, though. If the Broodlords get on top of this, it could be a little bit rough. A Thor is popping out. That's going to get surrounded and killed off. The Terran, he's just hunkering down. He's hiding at the back of his base, but look at this. The Terran player is still dropping all over. He knows that this is like a full-on base race right now. And this is an okay spot for the Terran. As the Terran, you usually, or as the Zerg, you usually want to make sure that you don't fall apart back at home like this. AlphaStar isn't really having much success with that, as this one Ultra is going to have to deal with all these Marauders and tanks. Is it going to be able to do it? No, it is not. The Marauders slaughter it. Now we are seeing the Broodlords pushing on into the main base of the Terran, though. Where all these units are, they might be able to pick off a Broodlord or two, but no, they're not able to make it under them. So they're pretty much just going to die. There's not a lot else going for the Terran there. We take a look, though, drones running away for AlphaStar. It's down to its main base. I mean, it's got creep all over, but yeah, look at this. The Terran could potentially eliminate AlphaStar right now. AlphaStar has spent the last of its money making one more Ultralisk here, but one Ultra, while good, is not going to be enough. I feel the Broodlings almost kill off one of those Marauders, which is nice. But AlphaStar is so slow with its base trade technique here. Oh, and the one Ultra that was about to be made actually gets picked off, so that is not going to be there to help out. And AlphaStar going to lose most of its buildings. Like, it's not focused on defending. I don't know if AlphaStar has ever died to elimination before, so the AI might not have might not have had the opportunity to learn this before, but yeah, this is really tough for the Zerg right now. Like, the Terran, he's been able to hunker down long enough that he could potentially win this game in a base race right now. The standing army for the Zerg is a lot better. The Terran, though, has a bank. He's able to secure more factories and things, start building more production across the map. Probably wants to lift that off. Yeah, he's doing a good job with that. But he does still really need to focus and make sure that he can kill off this base. I mean, I think this is one of the last structures here for AlphaStar. Yeah, AlphaStar literally just does this. Wait, no, is it going to be eliminated? Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's coming home too late. There's nothing to build in time. Okay, AlphaStar, oh my gosh, it knows. It's actually building an extractor here. Drones are surrounding these few Marines. AlphaStar building those extractors now has saved its life. It could have just died there. But, oh my gosh, AlphaStar was just about eliminated in a base race right there. It's got just the 1 or 2 extractors building, and that is that. Now, we take a look here. AlphaStar is being revealed, and it has just abandoned this, so 3 Marines are getting on in here. The AI, it just doesn't know how to base race. The tanks are coming across the map. The Corruptors are chasing the Medivacs, but that doesn't matter. If these tanks can get to the extractors, and that's the last extractor there, I think. Yeah, that's it. There's nothing else for AlphaStar. It's going to be eliminated, and that's GG. The Masters Terran player takes down AlphaStar. And, okay, that was a wonky game of Starcraft 2. AlphaStar seems to be all over the board with how it plays, but GG, well done. Humanity prevails again as this Master Terran player takes down AlphaStar's Zerg. Well played to the fellow whose name we do not know. But yeah, I hope you, ladies and gentlemen, enjoyed this game. If you did, make sure to press that like button if you stayed to the very end. And of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure to press that subscribe button. I will see you next time. This has been LaughNgamez.